All rise for the jury.
Tuesday afternoon, a jury of 5 men and 7 women found former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty in the murder of George Floyd last May, following less than 11 hours of deliberations and a 3-week trial. Mr. Chauvin was put in handcuffs after the verdict was handed down, and he was taken to jail. He will be sentenced in about 8 weeks. In that time, his defense will surely be preparing a possible appeal of this verdict. They're going to argue several grounds for a possible appeal, including that the case should have been heard somewhere other than Minneapolis, where the jury may have been tainted, according to the defense. They'll also argue that comments made by Congresswoman Maxine Waters calling for confrontation between protesters and police if the verdict was not guilty could have improperly swayed the jury. It's unclear if any of these arguments will work on appeal, but the defense has already signaled that this is how they're going to argue to have this verdict overturned. It's hard to overstate how this verdict could impact policing across the country going forward. We've had many previous examples of unarmed Black people being killed by police, including other deaths that were caught on video, but where charges weren't brought, and certainly they weren't found guilty. So this is a significant change, potentially a sea change. It could require or prompt police departments across the country to change their code of conduct for how police officers are expected to follow their own policies without the presumption that their own police chiefs, for example, won't testify against them if they don't, as we saw in this trial of Chauvin. The country is reacting, I think, with relief. We have seen a lot of statements coming in from elected individuals, various state attorneys general, nonprofit groups, rights groups, all praising the verdict, but also pointing out that there is a lot of work to do in terms of improving relations, ending police brutality against non-white people in this country. That is an issue that is exemplified by the fact that 2 high-profile deaths of Black people occurred just during this trial, including a 20-year-old unarmed Black man who was killed in a traffic stop with police just outside of Minneapolis. So while there's a lot of relief in the country, we're not going to see the kinds of protests that could have happened as we saw all last summer. But clearly they still believe that there's a lot of work to do going forward.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.